The following program is rated GE. It is suitable for general family viewing.
The average household in Kenya at least has a television set or a radio and at least one of these, a mobile phone. Essentially what I'm saying is technology has become a very essential part of our everyday lives. Right here on Tech 47, we keep you posted with the latest in tech, from gadgets to applications and so forth and so on. But we never really have taught you how to get rid of probably your phone or maybe other electricals that you may have in your household. That is exactly why we are here at WEEE Centre, so that we can learn how to take care of our e-waste.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So tell us about the centre, a brief history of the centre and what you guys do here. Yes.
Thank you. So WEEE Centre is an e-waste recycling company. So what we do is to make sure that electronic waste is safely managed. We've been running WEEE Centre since 2012. This is providing safe resting place for all electronics.
So many a times when someone hears e-waste, we don't understand what it is. Could you kindly let us know what e-waste is and why it's important to get rid of it the right way?
Yeah, so e-waste is anything that is electronic, electrical or battery powered that has either been overtaken by technology or has become obsolete. So what that means is that all your old electronics devices that are using electricity, using solar power, any form of power, and they also are probably having batteries, when they reach end of life, when you're no longer using them, either because they are not working, either because they are dead, or either because you're changing your technology, they become electronic waste. So that's what now WEEE Centre collects and ensures that they are safely managed.
Why and how are they dangerous to the environment?
These devices are very dangerous. They are built using heavy metals. So like a couple of metals in the periodic table. So you have more than 1,000 different metals that go into building electronics, from things to do with mercury, lead, you have even gold, zinc, all these metals that you are learning in chemistry. So when you don't safely manage these metals now, they are very harmful and very toxic, both to the environment, both also to human health. So what we are solving is not just an environmental problem. We are solving three issues. One is environment, to make sure that these things, when they reach end of life, they are not being thrown to harm our rivers, because the moment you harm the rivers or any water sources, you will still use the same water. So if you throw your old fridge or old mobile phone or any component in any electronic away, definitely it will end up destroying the environment. And then if, for example, it destroys the water body, the vegetables that we eat, they're still irrigated using the same water. So you're irrigating crops using water that has been contaminated by lead or mercury and 1,000 other different metals. So even if most of us goes to hospital and you do a metal test to check the content of metals that you have in your body, you'll be very surprised. You have very many metals. That's why sometimes even you feel your body is like becoming static. Yeah. So it's crazy.
Essentially, it's like a ripple effect.
Yes.
It's something that affects many other things.
So there's the environment aspect. There's the health, which is very key, because if the environment is destroyed, of course it will come back to harm us. The third thing is issue of now conserving the natural resources. By so doing, is that you have these minerals that were mined and they were used to build electronics. So they're still there, in a different form. So you don't necessarily have to go back to mining. on the earth when you already have them in the electronics. So we are also recovering natural resources and raw materials.
That's very interesting. I'd never thought about it. But to segue into a very interesting question, how did you end up in e-waste management?
It came out as a need. When we were starting WEEE Centre, there was no organized way of managing electronic waste. How we started, Computer for Schools Kenya was an organization that was supporting schools in Kenya in ICT in education. And even to date, the organization still is running. They have done over 450,000 computers that have gone to different schools across the country. So they have really done a lot in terms of bridging the digital divide in Kenya and also in other countries in Africa. So by 2010, 2011, we had done good numbers in terms of the computers that had gone out to schools. And then we realized when you go to some of these schools, you'd find the older versions of computers that you gave out in early years have been piled somewhere in a classroom or in a store. And then we ask ourselves now, how will these computers be handled? What will be the end result? There was no solution in Africa. So we had to go into research, realized, okay, so...
Did you say in Africa?
Yes, in Africa.
Okay.
So the closest solution that was there was in Belgium, you know. So we had to start talking to companies in Belgium and Germany to partner with them. And they were very impressed that a Kenyan local company or individuals would really want to go into that space. Yeah. So when we were starting WEEE Centre, we got that exposure from Europe, and then we had good buy-in from the local corporates at that time. Kenya Airways was one of them. Safaricom was the other one. There was also Unilever. Yeah? So they came on board and said, okay, this is a good thing, we would support you. So those are our first partners. Then we had a lot of now exchange with the European big recycling companies and the EU and other partners. So that's how we started. Sometimes I say we started accidentally. We just found ourselves deep into it because by the time we were being told we were doing e-waste management, we didn't even know. Because for us, we had started it as a tech bag, yeah? Taking just the old computers and replacing with newer versions of those computers. And then 10 years now, we are doing, we've done over 10,000 tons of e-waste that we've safely disposed. That's a lot. And it's not a lot. We could do more because we have the capacity. But like in a month, we're able to do the capacity we have. We can do up to 200 tons safely. But 200, that's tonnage that probably we do in 9 months or even sometimes in a year, yeah, because of the lack of awareness. People don't even know that you're supposed to take care of your e-waste safely. You find people will either bury. Sometimes I ask people, how do you take care of your e-waste? Like even for you, I'm sure this is not the phone that you're using 6 years ago. Yeah. So where did that other phone go to? You know, where did your old radio go to?
What happened to it?
So the moment we start thinking of where do these things end up, people will now start being aware. But there's been growth in Kenya in terms of the volumes that we are getting.
And speaking of volumes and people's awareness, how do you people go about collecting e-waste? Like say, for example, if I have things in the house that are potentially e-waste, how do I get them to you guys for you to do your thing?
So there are several ways. One, when you go to our WEEE Centre website, there's a place you can fill a form with your details and say your location, and then we'll organize and collect from your house. For companies, it's the same. We have companies that we have contracts with. They will always contact us when they have e-waste that is ready to be picked up. We are building mobile applications where you can just use your mobile phone and locate the nearest drop-off point or collection center. We've set up drop-off points in various parts of the country. We've partnered with Carrefour supermarkets. All their outlets have our WEEE Centre collection bin, so you can actually go to any Carrefour. When you're going to shop, you can carry electronics in your bags and drop them there and do your shopping. We are looking at setting up in gas stations also in a few stations across the country with some of our partners. Safaricom, if you go to Safaricom shops, they have, I think, more than 56 different shops across the country where somebody can go and just dispose their e-waste and it will end up coming to WEEE Centre. So all those options are there. We also do random estate drives where we go into estates and put our vehicles there and our bins, and people can bring e-waste. The other thing we are doing is that we are establishing collection agents. So this will be young people who will be moving into different estates across the country. They'll be able to collect the e-waste and then bring that e-waste to the WEEE Centre. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. So where are we looking at, if we look at the centre, give or take 10 years from now? You said it's like it's one of its kind even in Africa.
Yeah.
Where are we looking at taking it 10 years from now?
Interesting question. I think 10 years this will be huge. We'll be operating in bigger markets in Africa. I will be not only serving Kenya but also the entire continent, because with the experience that we have, with the capacity, the infrastructure, we'll be able to now use that to build a bigger facility. And we have certain components that we export to our European partners for further processing. So during that period, we'll not even be exporting. You'll find we have equipment, machinery, technology to handle everything locally in Kenya. Those raw materials will be used for our manufacturing industry. We as even WEEE Centre will go into our own manufacturing because we have the components. So we'll start manufacturing whatever it is that we can manufacture. Right now we are manufacturing lithium iron phosphate batteries from solar home systems. So we're able to repurpose, test, build new battery packs that again can go to be used into the markets, into the ecosystem. So in 10 years we'll be manufacturing our own equipment, electronics, and then of course we have the capacity to recycle. So we'll provide a circular end-to-end solution from manufacturing to now, once they reach end of life, we're able to take them back. They're recycled, you build different things from it, because we want to really enhance the circularity of electronics in Kenya and also in Africa.
How do I as a citizen play a good role or play my role in regards to reducing e-waste?
We just need to be responsible, when your electronics, in fact it starts with when you're buying the electronics. Get to know your vendor or your seller. Do they have a take back program, because one of the things that other countries have done that has worked is a polluter pay principle, whereby the polluter is the manufacturer. You put that responsibility on the manufacturer. So when you're buying equipment, also want to know how responsible is this vendor, Do they have a take back when I'm buying, let's say I'm buying a solar home system. When it reaches end of life, I'm able to take it back to them and they will take it back to WEEE Centre for safe disposal? Or does it now become my own responsibility? You also, so where the globe is headed is doing responsible businesses, You will not just be selling things and that's it. You see the way people put on the receipts, once goods are sold, they cannot be returned. We cannot be living in those ages right now. You want to have a vendor who they are responsible, they're taking care of the environment. Then you as the consumer, know your consumer rights, Put that pressure on the vendor or the manufacturer or the importer. Then the other responsibility that we have is to reduce the e-waste that we are generating. How do we do that? You don't have to buy unnecessary ICT equipment or electronics that you don't need. So when we are responsible, I believe we'll also make sure that e-waste is properly and safely managed.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Welcome back to Tech 47, and as we were talking about the journey of e-waste and what happens when it gets here, that is what we're going to go through during this segment of the show. Hope you enjoy. This is Nahashon and he'll be taking us through that. Stick around for this one.
Okay, welcome to WEEE Centre. This is our receiving workshop. So usually what happens is that once we receive e-waste from our clients, it's brought here. The first thing is that we weigh what we receive, and also we put an inventory of what we receive. So the weighing is very simple. So we just take the any of the things that has been disposed. So we just get the cereals and everything. That is for inventory purposes, and then we weigh to know how much each item weighs. And from this, we're able to convert them to the number of carbons saved. And when you're issuing a certificate, it will be showing you the number of kilos that you disposed and the amount of carbon that you saved. Yeah, so from here, we also do testing. So if, for example, in this case, we have received this KFT, we can test it. So if some of them, like the computers that get here, we take them back to Computer for Schools Kenya, which in turn do CSRs with them. That is we donate to a school and so on, and they're able to help students in the process. So then from here, what happens is that those components that are maybe fault and so on, we have a dismantling table on the other end where we are able to treat them further. Yeah.
Which we are heading to.
Yeah, exactly. So welcome to our dismantling area. So what really happens here is that after we have received our e-waste and we have weighed and we have done inventory, so everything is brought on this table, and the purpose of this is to remove the different fractions that are there. So we have metals, we have plastics, we have batteries, we have maybe small fractions and so on. And so the team here, what basically they do is they remove all the components depending on their type. So everything that is removed here is then now kept in different segments. So you have like their circuit boards, we have power supplies, we have plastics like that, metals, small fractions like batteries and so on. They are all kept there. So the reason for doing this is to be able to treat these fractions depending on the make they have, the very type they have. Yeah, yeah.
At least once they're grouped, you can now figure out what goes where and what does what, exactly, and what you use for what.
Yes, yes.
That's really...
Right now they are dismantling cathode ray tubes, screens. So these are screens that are used in the old TVs. Some are from schools. You can see the serial numbers. It's telling you that this one was deployed in a school. And most of them have come at the end of their life. And that's why they are adding on this table. So WEEE Centre, we have a zero dumping policy, meaning that anything that enters here must be treated well, such that it is not harmful to the environment. Yes. So whatever gets here, it has to end somewhere in taking care of the environment per se. Yeah, yeah.
So literally, once this is dismantled, nothing goes to waste per se.
Nothing will go to the dump site. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Essentially, there's no dump site here. Okay.
So these are different fractions that have been removed. You can see like there is metal, there is plastics on that side. We have cables and so on. Small fractions like batteries and so on are kept here. So welcome to our machine workshop. So from the dismantling table, what we get there are called fractions. And the fractions can be in different forms. They can be plastic, they can be cables and so on. So here, we start here. We have our first machine, and this is called the cable stripper. Yes, yes. So what happens in the informal sector is that people burn to be able to recover if they want to recover maybe copper. So what we do here is that we have our cables, and so usually they come in this form, but of course cables will come in this form. So what happens is that we put it at the back here, and then the plastic will be separated from this cable, and then we shall have the plastic and the copper aside. Then from here we can just do sorting.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you just sort the
Yeah.
plastic and...
So this means that we have 100%, we're able to recover 100% of the copper, and we're also able to recover 100% of the plastic that was coating the cable. So the dangers of burning means that you expose people to the chemicals that are made of plastic, and also your copper tends to lose up to 60% of its value because it will now be oxidized. Yeah. So
it's used again.
yes, now this copper we have partners who can take it and use it in their their processes. Yeah, so this means that no need for somebody to die mining copper.
Yeah.
So here we have our other machine. This one is for CRTs, the CRT grass. So the CRT grass here can be crushed. It's usually very hard. So this machine, when it's on, it's very noisy.
Okay.
But once you crush the grass, it can be used in other purposes. Currently, we have some we use it in making of bricks.
Yeah.
So we mix it with cement and so on, and then you can come up with very, very nice bricks from that. But before this process, what happens is that the CRT, we have the CRT cutter. So within the CRT, maybe you can see from here. So I'm not supposed to handle it very hard, but what I'll do, put it in a way that it is visible.
Okay.
So
Essentially, this is the back part of the monitor, so to say.
once you remove the plastic, this is what remains. So what happens here is that we have this wire. It's called the platinum wire. So this one is used for separating or cutting this CRT instead of using the hammering method. So usually you put it around and then you heat it to 1,000 degrees, and then you cool very fast. So that cooling effect on grass, it makes it to crack and separate. So you're able now to remove this upper part, and then on the surface of that grass there is a powder, the phosphor powder, which we suck using this.
Okay.
So this one now helps, when you inhale phosphor powder, it may have effects on your lungs and so on. So that one helps in treating. So once it is sucked, there is a jar at the back there that collects all that, and now it can be treated separately. The grass now will end up in that machine where it will be crushed, and now it can be used in other purposes. So we have the plastics. It's the same machine.
Okay, it's just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is one used for, like correcting that dust so that it is sucked by this. Yeah. So welcome to our battery workshop. So what happens here is that this is where we store our different types of batteries. So batteries comes in different forms. There are those that we call dry cells, and there are those that we call wet cells. So lead acid batteries, those are wet batteries. So what happens with them is that they can be highly corrosive, so you have to keep them. So what we do here is that we store each battery depending on its chemical property. So there are those that are from solar, so those are lithium-ion batteries. There are those that are from phones, there are those that are from torch, there are those that are from radios, there are those that are from remotes and so on. So all of them come here, and you have to keep them in each different segment so that they don't cause any harm. So batteries can start fire easily, so that's why, as you can see here, we keep monitoring their state. So like in these bins, what we have there is solar batteries. Maybe I can pick one of them. So this solar battery, you can see it still have its nodes on, yeah. So it means that if somehow they get in touch with others, you can easily start fire. So with the solar batteries, what happens is that we have a local solution for this. So we have partnered with our partners. They are called Acceleron, and maybe on the other side we shall be able to see what exactly happens to these batteries and how they are repurposed. Yeah.
And how about the rest of these? Like, so for example,
car batteries, what do you guys do with this one?
So for the car batteries, again, we have more partners that we work with. Yes. So
Very collaborative.
yes. So in e-waste sector, you can't do it alone. So because there are different segments, as I showed you, there are different fractions. So you must find a solution for each. And since most people have different solutions for this, what we do is that we partner with them, and that helps us also in trying to ensure that there is a zero dumping policy for everything that we have here. Exactly. Yeah. So welcome to this place. This is our center by our partners called Celeron. So what happens here is that we have the treatment for the solar batteries. So batteries from our center there are received here in different forms. So these are all solar batteries. So they come in different forms and different colors also. So once the batteries are received here, so they come to this table, and what they do here is they remove the casing. So this blue casing, it is possible to remove it like that. So what they'll get is the cells themselves, and they do physical examination of the cells to ensure that they don't have any, like casting and so on. And after this, these cells will be tested, and once they are tested and they are all working, those that are working will be put aside and they will be serialized, and they will be used in making the repurposed solar batteries that we shall see shortly. Those that are dead, they come back to WEEE Centre, and what we do there is now they will go another process of treatment. So the end products, once those cells come on this side, they're able to make solar products like solar batteries that can be used in homes. So we have different versions. We have like these big ones, and then we have smaller household batteries like this that you can use with a radio. You can use with a radio, or you can use with charging a phone. Yes.
We live in a generation where e-waste is nothing short of a nuisance. And in case you're wondering how we should take care of this, that is what we talk about this week. We are here at WEEE Centre, and you don't want to miss out on this week's episode, because if you don't see it on Tech 47, it technically did not happen.